We are talking about going all in and what that means. When you're so focused on what other people think about you, you're diluting who you were meant to become, because maybe some people around you aren't performing or aren't on your level. One of the biggest lessons as a child, I was running in 6th grade and I was the fastest runner. I won the race. And my coach said to me, Diana, it really pains me to see you run this way. And I was like, confused. And he says, did you win the race or did you just not lose? But it's not real. You're the one that's making it real. You're the one that gets to choose to keep it. So sometimes it's fear of judgment, fear if it doesn't work out, what are they gonna think of me, that I'm a failure? There's all these things that keep circling and going into a vicious cycle. We're always being divinely guided. It's the first thing that's, whatever it is, it speaks to you. And I really want to encourage all of you to start looking in the mirror and saying, did I start the year right? Look back and say, what's holding me back? What are the reasons preventing me from really going all in? Welcome to Make Things Happen with Diana Pagano. I came from struggle, living life on survival mode, and later found myself living in that same vicious cycle. Life is meant to be so much more than settling. Are you ready to stop dreaming for what could be and turn those dreams into reality? I thought so. Well, get ready to live life on your terms. Hello and welcome to Make Things Happen podcast with Diana Pagano. Today we're talking about all the reasons that you potentially have not yet gone all in. We are talking about just that, going all in and what that means. So many people, and this is studies that have shown, that have fear of judgment, fear of criticism. And let me tell you something, when you're so focused on what other people think about you, you're diluting who you were meant to become, because you're holding back or you're making yourself small because you're uncomfortable showing your true potential, because maybe some people around you aren't performing or aren't on your level, right? And that's a big topic. That's a big topic that I want to talk about, because in 2026, this year, we are going to go all in. And I really want to encourage all of you to start looking in the mirror and saying, did I start the year right? And that's okay if you didn't, but look back and say, what's holding me back? What are the reasons? Start writing it down. Start writing down what are the things that are preventing me from really going all in, right? And let me tell you, the biggest stealer of your dreams, the biggest stealer of your goals is going to be the fear of judgment, the fear of criticism, the fear of other people's opinions. When you give that so much value, you shrink yourself, number one. You play small and you put things on hold and you say one day, when one day may never come. You get one life to live to your absolute fullest. This is the time to go all in. There's not tomorrow, it's today, it's right now. Forget about what didn't happen yesterday. Forget about what you haven't taken advantage of. That doesn't matter. Let that be in the back already. It's like driving. I say this all the time. It's like driving to your destination and you're busy looking in the rearview mirror of all the things that you haven't done yet, right? Are you being true to who you are? Are you being true to your goals? Are you being true to all the things that light your heart on fire? Because when you are, you make magic happen. I can't tell you how many times I have seen friends and family members and even clients and people, they begin something, they start something, and then all of a sudden it's crickets. They were on a roll and then it's crickets, right? Because they're either focused on where they haven't gotten to yet, what hasn't been accomplished yet, but it has to be consistent. You have to commit in the beginning that no matter what's going to happen, that you're going to continue to go all in. Criticism is a real thing. We get criticized. There's so much on social media of what perfect life needs to look like. Maybe you want to be a speaker, for example, and you're looking at other people speak and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm nowhere near where they are. Or like my kids in hockey, for example, and it's hockey trial season for us. And so I always tell them, don't worry about other people and how good they are, how fast they are, any of that. Focus on where you're headed. Focus on your target. I talk about this in the More Mindset, my book. And one of the things that has been one of the biggest lessons as a child, I'll never forget. I was running in 6th grade and I was the fastest runner with boys and girls, right? And at I don't know, how old was I? 12 years old. And I remember running so fast in track and field and I wanted to I was so competitive and I won the race. I was number one. And my coach said to me, Diana, it really pains me to see you run this way. And I was like confused. Like, what do you mean? Like, I got what I wanted. I wanted to win the race. And he says, did you win the race or did you just not lose? Because I was so focused on looking where the next person was behind me, right? So he says, when you do that, you lose precious seconds off of your run, right? And so I mention this because when you're running the race of life, when you're doing whatever it is that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, whatever goal you have, whatever dream you dream about, when you begin and then you're like, okay, I'm going to do this thing, or maybe you haven't even gone all in, whichever spectrum you're in, whether you started and then you started to compare yourself and you started to look at what other people are doing, right? Or maybe you haven't even begun because you're like paralyzed by just seeing what other people are doing. It robs you. You got to be focused on yourself. You got to be focused on what you can do. Be focused on what your journey looks like. Like, mind your own business. When you're too busy in other people's business, you're robbing yourself from getting to where you want to get to, period. Right? And so other people that are going to judge you, listen, let me tell you something. When I began with my phone, like doing videos like this, and I was like, whatever, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I felt awkward. It felt awkward. I'm like, okay, this felt uncomfortable. And let me tell you something. You want to be uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, congratulations, you're on the right path. I was uncomfortable. And people thought, oh my God, you're so confident on camera. I'm like, no, when I don't have a face staring back at me, it was awkward. Now I'm used to it. Even now, looking at you, I'm like, I don't see you, but I know who I am and I know what I'm talking about is something from the heart. And when you're doing something from the heart, you don't apologize for it. And when you see other people trying to put in their 2 cents or judge you, no one is going to judge you. Let me tell you something, and pay attention to this. No one is going to judge you or criticize you that's living a life that you want. It's the people that haven't accomplished much in life, or they're just being haters. Let them hate. Give them something to talk about, right? But I'm telling you, I know how awkward it was when I would be on camera for the first time and I was putting myself out there. And listen, you may not want to be on camera. You may run a business where it has nothing to do with your face, and that's okay, but you still have to go all in. What are the reasons that you're not going all in? Fear of failure. That could be one thing. I want to preface that fear is false evidence that appears to be real, but it's not real. You're the one that's making it real. You're the one that gets to choose to keep it alive or not, right? And so sometimes it's fear of judgment. Fear if it doesn't work out, what are they going to think of me, that I'm a failure? It's a real thing. And I know because I've been there. I've been there myself. And there's been times that I'm like, oh, what if this doesn't work out? What if this? I've already accomplished so much of this that I wanted to, but what if I don't, right? There's all these things that keep circling and going into a vicious cycle. But if you have this little voice nudging at you, that is your higher self speaking to you. We're all being, I don't care what religion you are, you're always being divinely guided. Always. The good stuff, the bad stuff, the uncertainty, the exciting stuff, we're always being divinely guided. You got to listen to your gut. You got to listen to that instinct. Even telling my kids the other day, like, when you're out doing the thing at hockey, listen to your instinct. It's the first thing that's, whatever it is that speaks to you. That's huge. That's so huge. And so why I say this now is because fear is a real thing that lives in people's minds. It's not happening. In fact, over 90% of our negative thoughts are all based on assumptions. That's the research that shows, right? And so when you know that, it's like, what are the things that you could look at and say, why am I not going all in? Be vulnerable with yourself. No one has to see the piece of paper. Write it down. I'm vulnerable because I feel judged by whoever or others, or I fear that it may not work out. Like, what's the outcome that you want? Because let me tell you something, whatever I went after, people thought I was crazy. People thought that I was overambitious. People thought that I was whatever. But I said to myself, that's okay. What if I don't succeed? What does that mean? Like, what happens if I don't succeed? Like, am I still who I am? Like, do I still have an opportunity to do it a little differently? I think that the expectations that you have of whatever you're afraid to go all in, you need to set that aside. You need to just focus on what you want, not the expectation of, well, it has to look this way. If it doesn't, then I'm a failure, right? You're thinking a little too much about what can be in a negative lens. But if you think about what it can be from an optimistic perspective, doesn't mean it's going to 100% happen, but you're now giving yourself more of a chance for it to happen for you because you're now tuning into a channel that's empowering you, that you're saying, hey, I'm going to go all in. Can you imagine if you went all in every single day for 30 days? Just 30 days, you're going to go all in. You're going to look back and say, wow, I can't believe I did all this, right? And that's the game. That's the game that you got to play when you go all in. Decide up front. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to commit to doing this no matter what happens. And just so you know, most dreams die not because of failure, because of fear of what they think about me, what they're going to think about me. Do you know how many times people might have laughed at my videos? I know that this has happened where they laughed at my videos, or they questioned my authority or my credibility, right? Or just because there's something inside of somebody, for them to be looking at you, at what you're doing, there's something inside of them that they wish they were gutsy enough, had the courage to do the thing. I am telling you right now, when you just let everything go, when you just let people talk, let people say whatever, don't even give it any space in your mind, and you just go all in as if nobody's watching, sure, right? And you go all in on whatever it is that you want in life, everything is going to diminish. The more you rise to the occasion, the more you rise to align yourself with what you want, the more you go all in, the more the other stuff starts to quiet. When you're hesitant, when you're half in and half out because there's a hesitation, you're blocking your path single-handedly, because nothing can flow to you when there's a block. But when you're just completely going all in and you are not focused on the competitor, you're not focused on what you haven't done yesterday and looking back at the rearview mirror, you're not focused on that. You're not focused on what if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I get judged? Like, let it all happen. Let it all fall where it needs to fall. But you have to know that your future self depends so much on you being courageous enough to rise to the occasion, to go all in. And let me tell you, like I said, when you finally rise, when you go all in, man, your world is going to change. Your world is going to change, and you're going to start seeing things that are not supposed to happen to normal people. And you're like, what is happening, right? And I hate to say normal people because we're all normal people, but it's the very few that rise to going all in. And I've seen so many people start things and then they stop. And it's like, what happened? Because, right, when you start something, you're on a path, you're getting momentum, and then all of a sudden you stop. You either didn't see results right away, or you felt like awkward doing the thing, whatever it is that you were doing, and you start thinking that other people are starting to see you. Again, it has to be specific to whatever it is that you're doing, but it doesn't matter. If you're putting flyers out for a landscaping job, or you just got your real estate license, like me, I've had my real estate license, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen agents asking me, what are you doing? How are you being so successful? How do you have all these deals? Like, are you paying for advertisement? Is the broker giving you leads? And the answer was no to none of it. I didn't have a background in real estate before I started real estate. I didn't have anyone feeding me leads. I went and got it myself. And then, of course, you networked with loan officers, you networked with people, and then you get leads for sure. But it's you doing the thing. And I would go in Scottsdale with my heels and everything, knocking on doors. Why? Because I said to myself, I need to go all in. That was me going all in. And it was a little awkward that I'm sitting here in my fancy shoes and like my business outfit and 100-degree weather as well. It was probably like 90 at the time. I think I was out there past 100 degrees in Arizona, but I was knocking on doors every single time. And I'm telling you, the reason people didn't do that is because they were too worried what people would think. They were so caught up with, well, I don't want to seem, it's always like your image and what they're going to say. But let me tell you, I had deals. I had people that would answer the door. And even when they said no, I said, no worries. I'm going to get my yes very soon, because the more I knock on doors, the more I'm going to find, somebody that needs help. I'm not here pitching something that's not of need. I'm here to pitch something that people need. And so at some point in their lives, right, to sell their property, to sell their home. And so that's what I'm talking about. Whatever business you're in, go all in. Who cares if the guy that is doing what you want is got a penetration in a neighborhood and that's a business you want to penetrate yourself? So what? There is plenty. There is an abundance. When you start believing that there is a true abundance of what you want, then that's when doors, windows will start opening up for you. Because now you're believing that there is an abundance of opportunity out there. If you believe that there is an abundance of women or men that you want to be one day finding a partner, right? If you believe it, then you're going to start receiving opportunities that mimic the belief that you believe. If you believe in your core that the market is too saturated, that I can't go into real estate, I can't be a speaker, I can't be a singer, whatever it is, because I can't tell you how many times I've been told you got to know people in real estate to be successful. When I moved to Connecticut from Arizona, I had been doing real estate for 10 years and I moved to Connecticut and they said it would be really difficult because I didn't have connections and you got to know people. And I'm like, huh? It bounced right off of me. And I'm like, well, that's a mindset that you think I'm going to now accept and have you impregnate this belief. How many times have you heard outside people, whether the news or your friends or people that didn't succeed, and now you believe like, well, if they didn't, then now your belief system believes the thing, right? You got to challenge that. And for me, I lived it. I did Arizona already. I did real estate. I was successful in real estate. I already knew the game. I came from nothing. I came from no connections. No one gave me leads. I didn't spend money on advertisement. So you're talking to the wrong person right now. You're telling me I can't be successful in Connecticut? I already knew. Cool. Like I said nothing. There's no reason to argue, but I proved otherwise. And it wasn't a place of conceit, but you got to know what you bring to the table. You have to know, and you have to be your biggest fan, as if you were the customer of your own business. Would you go with yourself? And if the answer is not yes, then you got some work to do. You got to reflect and say, what are the gaps that I need to fill to feel confident in what I'm doing? Because if you're not confident in what you're doing and who you are, forget other people and what they say, just you and what you bring to the table and what you want to pursue, right? If you're not 100% confident in what you bring to the table and the value that you bring, then you got to go back to basics and you got to be like, what gaps do I need to bridge? Right? That's such a key thing for not allowing you to fully be at your full potential and going all in, right? So there's fear of judgment, fear of this, fear of that. If you don't have the money, well, then what could you start with? Could you go to, I don't know, Office Max and print? I don't have a printer. I don't have the money. Like, can you go to Office Max and print flyers? Right now there's no excuse. There's ChatGPT can create a whole flyer for your business, right? Go all in, go knock on doors, right? Again, it depends on what your business is, but I really don't care what it is. Could you do that? Could you get on social media? Right now, social media is where it's at, quite frankly, for any business. Any business. Tell me a business that wouldn't leverage social media. I don't think I could think of one. I don't think there is one. And so whatever it is, when you go all in, you're going to see what you're capable of, period. And let me tell you, you don't have to be the most smartest person in your industry. You don't have to be the most confident person in your business, right? Remember that. Yes, be confident in who you are. Even if it's just, I'm confident in my ability to learn. I'm confident in my ability to attempt and put the best effort that I know I can make. That's it. Forget about the knowledge that you don't have. As long as you have that, the rest is going to follow. But just begin. Even studies have shown when you take that very first step is one of the hardest ones you're going to make. Then the second one becomes easier, the third and the fourth. And when you start taking action, that's the biggest builder of your confidence. It's the biggest builder of your confidence. Just start taking the action. I'm telling you from experience. I'm telling you because I've lived it. I'm telling you because I've coached it. I'm telling you because I've seen real transformation that follows when people just finally say, I'm tired of this. I'm going to go all in. I'm not going to be, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like all this wishy-washy. When you're wishy-washy, you're going to get wishy-washy results. That's just how it goes. But when you're going all in and you're confident that you're going all in and you're committed, because goals are easy to slap on the board, slap it on your notes, but it's when you commit to the thing. That's what's going to drive your success, that you commit no matter what. This is what I'm going to do. 1 foot after the next. Small step, big step, doesn't matter. Every day you're going to do one thing to get you getting that momentum, because that's where you're going to see it and feel the difference, right? And so I hope you enjoyed this episode of Going All In. I hope that you can just say enough of me playing small, enough of me putting off my dreams, enough of me putting myself last. Start the freaking podcast. Start the podcast. Start the thing that you are so passionate about. If you think, I don't know what to do, I feel like I want to do this, I want to do that. What is it that's calling you? Close your eyes, take a deep breath, meditate for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, whatever. You don't have to do it an hour. And make your intention and say, I am open to receive answers on where my next step lies. Because I'm telling you right now, even that gives me chills. You are being divinely guided. You already have the answers within you. We all do. When we tap into that, when we ask the right questions, you're going to receive the right answers specifically for you, right? And so when you do that, you meditate and you just ask. And I will say one thing, and you'll see this like in Shark Tank. You see this in so many areas. When people found their passion, their purpose, sometimes it's because of the pain, sometimes from pain. It could just be like, I just love this. Like if it's a professional athlete, NBA player, right? They're just, everyone has their thing that drives them. One of the things I will say is that look at what lights you up. Because as I mentioned, you see this in Shark Tank as well, where they're like, I had this issue with my kid's lunchbox and it was so annoying. I finally created this thing that just made sense to me. And then that right there gives them confidence and passion that it's going to work for the whole world because it worked for my family. It worked for me. Right? Just look at Shark Tank. It's the best show ever. You can watch it. If you have kids, watch it with your kids. My 10, 11-year-old loves Shark Tank. I record it. And they always say, can we watch Shark Tank? It's amazing, right? Because it makes you think. It makes you like knowledgeable of like different things about what people are inventing. And I don't know, it's a cool show. But what I'm saying is look around you, anything. You can look up the best companies out there. It starts from something, from somewhere. But let me tell you, if you don't begin, you'll never know what was possible. And let me say this to some of you that might have already started something that may not have worked out. Because if you do something and you're finally saying, I'm going to go all in on this thing, and it doesn't succeed, I guarantee you're going to gain something from it. I guarantee you're going to gain knowledge, lessons, ideas. You'd be like, man, I started this thing. I know many people have started businesses and they started this thing and then it took them to a whole different place. Maybe this business didn't work out, but it led them to something else. And I say this, I want to preface this because it's your mindset. When you're open to whatever comes and knowing upfront that, hey, whatever happens, anything and everything that's happening is happening for my greater good. Even the rejections, even the objections, even the things that don't feel good, there's some reason that I had to live it. I'm telling you, when you come from that place, you allow possibilities to happen and you're not going against the current and you allow yourself to be led. And yes, put in some time. It's not like you're going to sit there, pray about it, visualize it, and then not put the effort in. You got to put the effort. You have what it takes to make your dreams a reality. You already have what it takes. Let me repeat that. You already have what it takes to make your dreams a reality. The question is, are you ready to go all in? Are you ready to stop looking at what other people are doing and how further they are ahead of you? And are you ready to allow the naysayers to be on the sidelines attempting to talk you down, attempting to put in their little 2 cents? Let it happen. Let it happen. And when you're so focused on the bullseye of where you're headed, let me tell you something, your world will change. Your life will change. Think about the future self. Think about the life that you could have. Think about, instead of saying, what if I don't succeed? What if, I'm being judged? What if they see me and think that, I don't know what I'm talking about? Whatever it is, instead of that, counter that and say, what if I live the life that I've always wanted to live? What if I'm living a life that I'm really making a difference? What if my impact in the world is bigger than anybody's criticism? What if my impact is bigger than any fear that has attempted me to quit? And when you ask yourself the question, instead of saying, what will people think? Start asking, what will my life look like when I do go all in? What will my life look like if I don't go all in? And I think the biggest thing is your decisions. And when you go all in, you got to look at what are the decisions that are backing up the action of going all in. In other words, if you allow fear to dictate the decisions of playing small, if you allow fear to take hold, right, you're going to be living a life smaller than what you're capable of. That's just how it is. And you weren't meant to live a life beneath your capabilities. You were meant to explore and see what you're capable of. You have such gifts, such talents. I think one of the biggest fear is living a life with regret, right? Looking back and saying, I wish I did the thing. I wish I stopped caring what other people thought of me, right? You get one life to live, one freaking life. Why not go all in and see what you're capable of? When you can look back, right, and see, holy cow, I did the thing, and you surprise yourself. But when you pursue whatever it is that's lighting your heart on fire, the real reason most people have stopped is because they feel uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable. And you're supposed to feel uncomfortable. That's normal. That's part of growth. And people want to live in a comfort zone. And it's sad to me. Not because I don't judge people that want to play status quo and want to live in a comfort zone. What saddens me is when they don't go for what they want and they settled for less because of fear. That's what saddens me. I am nobody to tell you to come out of your comfort zone if your comfort zone is the highest achievement you wanted to achieve, whatever that is, more love, more health, more joy, more abundance, more money, more business, more opportunities, more exercise, more fun, more excitement, whatever it is that you want to step into more, it requires you to go all in and be fierce. You have the courage. You have everything that you need to go all in. And let me tell you something about fear of being judged in any capacity. I pulled up some statistics that I thought was crazy. Whether you're a speaker or not doesn't matter. Maybe you're just speaking up in your business, or maybe you work for a corporation, or whatever area in your life. 44% of people say fear of being judged is a major reason that they avoid speaking or expressing themselves. That's insane. That's insanity. The majority of people experience anxiety about being seen or evaluated. Around 75% of people experience anxiety about speaking in front of others. I'm telling you, there's so many people I know that are running their business. Maybe it's real estate, maybe it's a beauty salon or something, or maybe it's, I don't know. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. Any business, insurance, selling cars, it doesn't matter. And they being on camera, even on social media, and being on camera or doing a video, whatever it is, will actually get you more business, will actually bring more customers to you. But yet so many people don't because of fear. Fear of how they look on camera, fear on how they're going to sound, fear on what other people think. 30% avoid careers that requires them to be seen. So there you have it. I can go on. I love statistics. But I'm telling you, the top, and there's many reasons, but the top number 1% that people don't go for what they want is because they're being fearful of how they're going to look, how they're going to be judged, how they're going to sound. If you found yourself shrinking yourself small because of maybe the people around you in your life, you got to look at what's the sacrifice of you shrinking yourself for other people in your life, but yet you're not living the life that you're meant to live. And so you get to decide, and it starts right now. In this episode, if you're watching this video right now, you get to decide right now. Are you going to go all in? Are you going to play it safe? When you go all in, you're going to surprise yourself. You're going to have more confidence. You're going to have more visibility. You're going to have more customers. You're going to start seeing for yourself, which again, you have to be your biggest fan. You have to influence yourself first. So you're going to see single-handedly the outcome that by going all in, you're aligning yourself now with your future self, with your future potential, and to live a life and stepping into more that you were really meant to be. So I hope you found this episode helpful. I hope that you can send this to a friend, a family member, a colleague that needed to hear this, and that you go all in, whatever you're doing, that you can really just give it everything that you have, because it's not about the golden star that you're after, the golden ticket, or getting to the finish line. It's how you show up, whatever you're doing, even if you work for somebody else, that you can say, I'm going to go all in, because that's going to lead to promotions. That's going to lead to other areas that is going to just be what you want. And so when you're doing something half in, half out, you're robbing yourself. You might say, oh, I'm not going to give it my 100% because I'm being paid by this business to do my job. But let me tell you something, you're robbing yourself. You're hurting yourself more than you actually think. By just going all in and doing something full throttle, give it your entire heart and soul without worrying what your neighbors are going to think, what your coworkers are going to think, what people are going to think. And that's when you step into who you were meant to become. That's you living the life aligned with what's going to come next for you. I hope that you step into more by going all in. And if you haven't gotten the More Mindset, I hope that you do. There's a link below that you can order the More Mindset on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get your books. And I'd love to hear your comments below. What are you now going to do to go all in? Or have you gone all in? What have been some of the challenges that have affected you, maybe if you did go all in? Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any future episodes. And I can't wait for the next episode to arrive in your notifications.